guys, it's Funk here again. This is a video, this is a replay I had yesterday, the T54E1 obviously, where I managed to get Ace Tanko finally after about 60 or 70 games. And it was a pretty good result, I have to say. This was a hell of a game in terms of how much damage and everything I did, but it doesn't really showcase any wonderful skilled gameplay. It just shows, it's really just showing off the basics of how to play an autoloader, which is every time you get shot, make sure you shoot them 3 or 4 times, and you'll end up doing 2 or 3 times as much damage to them as they've done to you, which is pretty much a simple concept of how the autoloaders work, and it's why I like them, why I'm enjoying this line, because it's actually really pretty easy to have really good games in this compared to other mediums where it actually takes a lot more skill, I have to admit, to do better in a normal medium. And I'm not that skilled a player. Like I'm alright, I'm doing okay, but I'm really not a super player or anything like that. So obviously you can see here I'm just reloading to make sure when I do pop out that I've got a full clip, and it'll be worth trading damage to unload a full clip on them. So here we go. So I take a few hits there, which is probably not the best play, but still, here we go. I still unload a full clip, so I've managed to do a hell of a lot more damage to them than they did to me. So that worked out well. I don't mind trading damage like that, you know. But if I was being more careful, if I was a bit more of a skilled player, I probably would have exposed myself to only one gun firing back at me rather than 2 or 3. But to be honest, I wasn't really trying that hard in this game, which is why it surprised me how well I did, and it just goes to show that in the right circumstances this tank can be really quite OP. And the right circumstances are when you're up close, you're in their face, and you're able to make sure you hit every single shot. So there we go, another clip out, and again I took a lot less damage than I was able to dish out there. So yeah, I would definitely say this tank is OP, but only in the right circumstances. If you're fighting at a distance, if you're sniping, this tank's not OP because you've got no turret armor, your accuracy isn't good enough to snipe, and you end up wasting your clip and probably missing half of your shots, and then having to wait another 30 seconds to reload. Whereas if you can do this, and you make sure you hit every single shot, they just can't compete with you. So there we go, so I've lost most of my health, and I think, can't quite read it properly, but it looks like I've done 3.3k damage at the moment, and now I see there's an E75 coming, so I reload APCR clip, because standard rounds on this obviously struggle getting through almost every single part of the E75, unless it's the side, of course. So I'm just going to wait till he fires so I don't take a hit, and then I'll pop out and put my full clip into him. So the Pershing fires. There we go, he's fired. He's turning his turret. Perfect. 2 in. And done. Now at that angle, that's pretty hard to pen that WZ111, so I'm looking for the cupola, and then he gives me the front drive wheel there. Perfect. Done. So I mean, yeah, if you get a game where you can unload, you can hide in cover, reload, come back out, unload, it's just ridiculous the amount of damage you can do so easily in this tank. It's crazy. And here we go, the 30's not looking at me, so I'll get to put a few into him as well.
Enemy armor is damaged. They're knocked down.
T30, he doesn't even look at me for some reason. I thought he was going to have a go at me, but there's a lot of tanks in front of him. And fortunately for me, they're all too scared to come out and take a hit, which means that I get full health T30. I get to put my full clip into him. Here we go. He's on fire. Then I see where my first shot set him on fire, so I shoot there again. He's on fire again. 1650 damage in a few seconds. That's just crazy, and it actually feels a little bit. It feels a bit cheap, to be honest. Like, you get tons of damage, but that's just it just feels a bit cheap. That was just so easy, and it's just so dirty to do that. It's crazy. So there we go. I've got almost 7,500 damage, and I haven't even really done any particular spectacular plays. I've just done the basics of an autoloader. Make sure that you shoot full clip into them every time you get shot, and you do far more damage. And then I kind of asked the team, I realised I'm on 7 kills, and I asked the team if I can have the Arty for a Radley Waters medal, but they don't give it to me, and I can't really blame them. They're under no obligation to leave the kill for me, so I think a Radley Waters should be earned fair and square, not given away by your team. So it would have been nice to have it still, but it's much more rewarding when you earn it fair and square. So there we go, game over. And I'd been trying to get the mastery in this for a while, so there we go, finally got a mastery badge, and very much in style, and over 1600 base XP, so good game. Hope you enjoyed it.